Okay, I know that Aputure 1200X might be a boring topic and might be a niche topic, but I want to convince myself either to keep it or send it back. So at the moment it's not about the visuals, not much about the visuals, but it's rather about the noise and the sound quality. So now the light is at 6% to have this exposure, and it seems that this proper exposure is f4 on my face. Again, I'm testing 3 mics, so I have dietitious under my t-shirt. Here is the DJI Mic Mini, and there is a MKE E600 recording to Zoom F6. And at the moment the light is at 6%, and I'm using a smart setting of the fan. And actually the light was on for last 2 or maybe even 3 hours. I think 3. So to see if this would get any hotter with Latern 150, but since it doesn't, it seems like the noise level is exactly the same for last 3 hours. So that's the good sign, and it's barely audible. I'm again around 2 meters from the light. I tested the light today, and up to 10% it is quite quiet. Either the fan is not spinning at all or it's spinning very slowly, but the problem is if you go to, for example, 15%, then the fan is ramping up and ramping down, ramping up and ramping down. So especially the noise when it is ramping up is kind of annoying. So it is not that great in my opinion. And of course I will test it in a second at the medium setting, and we'll see, because this is the different unit. This is the second unit I sent back. The first unit, because the feedback I got from both Aputure and Andrew Locke was that my unit is too loud, but it seems that this unit is has exactly the same level of loudness, at least in my opinion. Maybe there is a bit less clunkiness in the fan noise, but other than that it seems that it is exactly the same. Maybe small tad quieter, but I think it's not. So that's why I want to test it in a few scenarios. So first scenario is kind of similar as what I tested with the first unit, Latern 150 and 3 mics. And then I want to test, I want to see if any of this might help. So that's the kind of standard dead cat for this mic, and this is the Rycote wind noise remover. But what I've seen that the and of course I can also turn on the low cut in the mic. I'm not a big fan of this, but I will test it anyway, because sometimes I want like really fast turnover of the media. So if I'm able to remove that noise on set, that would be great. That's why I will test these two plus the low cut. But what I've seen is that the highest spike of the noise is around 800 Hertz. So the low cut won't do it, I think, but we'll see. So at the moment it is smart setting 6%. Unfortunately, there is some background noise. Some people are noisy upstairs. There is a dishwasher in the background, and there was washing machine running, but I think that washing machine finished. Let me have 3 seconds of quiet. So I wonder if this would be audible or not. It's not. I think it's with the silent, with the smart setting. I think it's similar to any other light I have, so probably it's only the ballast. I have to check it. At this smart setting it's only ballast, so I can actually move ballast away. At least at at least with this setup I can move ballast like 6 meters away and it won't be audible, so that's the really big plus. Let's see what happens if I switch to medium. So the low cut is off. I can change it from the application, so I'm going with medium. And this setup is a bit different than before because the light is pushed into the corner, so I think this sound resonates in the corner, so it is even worse than before, but it is what it is. So this is medium setting of the fan without any noise blocking, so no low cut and no wind protection. And for these two mics I'm not able to do anything, so it is what it is. So I guess this is medium setting, so it is probably very audible as before, but I would try to run voice isolation in Davinci Resolve and see how much of voice isolation I have to use to remove this. It is kinda constant sound, so should be easy to remove in Davinci, but I'm not sure if this would mutilate my voice. It's hard to say, but I will see. So this part would be probably with the voice isolation, or is with the voice isolation, so you can judge yourself how that sounds. And now I will turn off the voice isolation and turn on the low cut in the mic and see. So what I can see that definitely the deity is registering this, or something else, at least some noise, but because when I'm not speaking, the levels are moving. But so now it is the low cut in the mic, no wind muff, and 3 seconds of silence. Now I will try to install the Fury, so let's see. Unfortunately it's in the shot, but maybe it's okay that it's in the shot, so the same distance for the mic, and now I know which one is here. So this is the 4 without the low cut and 3 seconds of silence. So we'll see how that sounds. Now the 4 with the low cut filter in the mic, 3 seconds of silence. I kinda doubt that this would help for this annoying sound. I kinda doubt it, but maybe. Then I think I will attach the grid to see how much more light I have to have pump to have the proper exposure, and maybe I'm still able to have proper exposure with the smart setting and the fan won't spin that fast. But we'll see. If this would be 12%, probably the fan would be too fast and it would be too noisy. So now the Rycote, which is very good at blocking wind noise, but this is not a wind noise, so and Rycot is on. I doubt any of them would help, but it is worth trying, and definitely in the medium setting this light is not feasible for stuff like that. So if you want to fight the sun because you have a window in the background, I doubt this light is feasible choice for that, unless you are able to remove it in post with voice isolation. But still, it is kinda annoying to be on set with such a noise. So I guess the talent might be annoyed with such noise, and it depends. I kinda have problem hearing my own thoughts, so it's weird. It's kinda weird. Okay, so now low cut is on, and this is still with Rycot. I hope I recorded 3 seconds of silence with Rycot. So now another 3 seconds with Rycot and low cut. Yeah, so it is what it is. I also want to try the setup with the Latern. So the one I presented some time ago, so there is kind of useful for 2-person interview. So you can create some kind of the cross lighting with just one lantern instead of the 2 lights. So that might be actually quite useful, and I guess this would work even in silent mode, because when I tested the lantern with 300 watts fixture, it was still too bright. So I would probably have to use this at like 0.5% or 0.2%. It depends how dim it is at these low settings. Maybe at 1%, it depends how dim it is, because it's supposed to be dimmer than other lights at low settings. So maybe I have to go to 1%, but I guess it would be something below 1%. That means I can for sure use smart setting or even silent setting. But then I think in silent the max is 75 watts, so I think the percentage should be different, but I'm not sure. And this is still Rycot with low cut. Yeah, so I will switch back to, I'm able to find my phone. Okay, so I switched to smart again at 6%, and I will remove this, and now I will stop recording and I will attach the grid to see how much light I have to pump to have the proper exposure on my face, and if this makes the fan spin. If this is above 10%, might be the case it would spin, but maybe with this big modifier it won't still run. And I think it is like 22% of ambient temperature here, but it might get a bit hotter in this part of the room because this light was running for 3 hours. But from the other hand, at 6%, so shouldn't be that hot. Anyway, I will try to mount the grid and we will check how fast it spins with the grid, because I have to pump up the power. Okay, the grid is on, so I have to pump the power. f2.8.5, so maybe not that much, so 9%. So I wonder if the fan would spin faster, but I doubt it. So that's the good news, that you can use it with the grid too, and you can still have quiet fun. But I mean, it's probably not the best look, but at 9%, I guess it won't go any faster. So that's a good news. But if I want to fight the window, then like 1200 watt fixture is like quite flexible and universal. You can use it for ton of stuff, but for me quite important thing is to be able to fight the window in the shot. That should be more powerful than my F600BI with this big modifier, but it seems it might be too loud for that, which is the most concerning thing for me, that I won't be able to use it in such setup. And that's why I'm actually thinking of sending back. I will probably share my recordings with Aputure to see what they say. Like maybe they say that, oh sorry, this one is broken also. But I kind of doubted that 2 units have a broken fan. So I think it is basically it is that noisy. So I guess that's how it actually is. So I guess that's it for this setup. I will try to set up the Latern. Not sure I would record anything today with the Latern, but I would record something for sure tomorrow. And I will try to compile all the setups into one video, to not to produce 100 different videos, and we'll see. I'm kind of interested myself if low cut and wind protectors are doing anything. I doubt it, but we'll see. And maybe Davinci voice isolation would do a good job, but again, that noise is that annoying that I wouldn't like to be on set with such a noisy device. So I don't know, maybe some people don't care, but if I'm recording some interview and somebody asking me something and this is that noisy device on set, my mind would go crazy. So I don't know. I have to also check what is the highest setting. I can go with the smart setting, but I think at 15% this might start spinning fast, and the smart, what is bad about the smart, this is ramping up and ramping down, or ramping up and ramping down, and the noise when the fan is ramping up is quite annoying. It's even more annoying than when it is running at medium speed. Okay, so I'm going to bring the Latern and a boom, and I would try to boom it to my right to kind of emulate the cross lighting for 2 people, but that would be half of the setup, so only 1 person and one frame. So see you later, alligator. Okay, it actually might be too far to my side, so maybe it should be more to my front, because then this part of my face is basically in the shadow. Let me see what is the exposure now. F4.2. So not bad, but I think I have to angle this more to the front, and we'll see. And actually the box is noisier than the light, which the fans are not spinning, so that's the good sign. I can kinda rotate it here. It's really on the verge of destroying something, and I can see the screw in here. I've pushed it back. Well, now I can set the exposure. Now it's much better because this part of my face is lit, and actually I'd say it's, you can imagine that there is a second person there on the same chair and we are like facing each other, and this is a really good setup to kinda emulate the cross lighting. Of course I need some headlight, and the other person would need some headlight, but other than that, at the moment it's not spinning, so that is actually really good. Although if there is a window in the background, then you're not able to use it. Anyway, let's see, 8%. Too much. 6. It says f4.01, so maybe with this setup I should go higher actually, because now I think it's too dark in terms of how the whole image looks. It is at f4 now, so like it is kind of like a Rembrandt lighting, so maybe it's okay, I don't know, but like the lantern, and also the lantern is not like full of light, and I can also attach the skirt on the other side, so more light would be bounced here. But this is with the smart setting of the fan. I actually think that something like that is nicer, although maybe this part of my face is overexposed, I don't know. But f4.3 it should be okay, so let's do the brighter exposure. So this is with the lantern, which is it's not enough room here, so the second chair wouldn't fit unless I remove all the furniture. So this is just half of the setup. There would be another person on another chair, and each of interviewees would have the hair light, but it's not about the hairlight, it's about the noise this light makes. So this is smart setting. I kicked the chair when I was setting up, so it's a bit different frame, but I think and for some reason I think this stuff died. The batteries died, I guess, or something like that. Yes. So I have to change the batteries and come back. Well, it seems I have pushed my luck with the batteries in the Deity. They were like on 2 bars when I started recording. I mean, they were reporting 3 bars, but before they were 2 bars. So I hope it is still recorded. What I recorded before, that the file is not corrupted. That's my hope, but if not, then I have 2 other mics and now it is connected again. So yeah, I still have recording in Zoom F6, although it is not 32-bit float, but it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, it is 32-bit float there, but it is transferred as 24 bits digitally, I think. So yeah, I have to say that yeah, it's this setup is okay, and if you hear anything, that's the power brick. But now I'm not able to move it that far, but I still have like 2 or 3 meters of the cable so I can move it farther away. And what I've noticed, that actually the blur produces like more natural colors. Like the rendering of the colors is more natural. If I compared it with 600D, that definitely looks closer to what I see. And all these grays, my skin, everything looks much better. But the annoying thing is the fan noise. So let me spin it to medium, and actually I can see what is the temperature of the COB. Probably is 48 and fan speed is 0. So it's nice that this Amaran app, it reports that. So going to medium, as loud as duck, and it says that it is 1500 RPMs, which sounds like it is 10,000 RPMs. It sounds like a old SAS drive which has 10,000 RPMs, and it says 1600. It's hard to believe it is 1600 RPMs. It is 140 millimeters fan with 1600 RPMs. It should be basically like noiseless. So I don't know, maybe the second unit is also broken, I don't know, but it seems really weird. So maybe I would run it at high, and it's at 40% the temp of the light. And it might be the case that my wife is going to kill me because it's noisy, and it says it's 2300 RPMs, almost 2400 RPMs, and the light is 36 degrees Celsius. So switching back to medium, and with this setup I was kind of afraid that I would have raccoon eyes, but it's not the case. It depends. I'm not sure how this would look like on the wide angle. Maybe it's too low. If I have it's above my head, but maybe not high enough for the wide shot, and it's 1600 RPMs, and it is noisy as duck. I don't know. This fan is weird, although maybe this sound is from these two small fans. So yeah. So 3 seconds of silence. 1.5 meters from my head probably, and probably 1 meter from this mic. I will take the tape measure and see. So it is 1 meter 20 centimeters to MKE, and it is from the middle of the fan 1 meter 60 centimeters to the mics I have on my chest. I have to check if I still have a time code. I think I've seen a time code, but maybe not. Yeah, there is still time code, so that's at least a good news. So I hope that the recording is also here, but if not, then I have it on Zoom F6. Anyway, this seems noisy, quite noisy. It's not like very noisy, but it's quite noisy. I think that some people might have problem concentrating with such a noisy thing. And smart mode, and the fan is not spinning anymore, I think. Yes, it stopped. So 0 RPMs, and when the fan is off, that light is actually really good. So 2 setups or even 3 setups, different configuration of the mic, and I have to see if that makes any difference. I doubt it, but maybe, but I think it is too loud. For me, it's too loud, definitely. And I don't know, maybe I should keep it and change the fan for something different. What if I open the chassis, then I lose the warranty, so it's kind of fishy to, like, it's like 10 years ago, every GPU was very noisy and people was buying GPUs, changing the heat sinks and fans on the GPUs, losing their warranty. I remember that I don't know, it was like GeForce 760 or something like that, or 520. It was very noisy, but there were third-party fans and coolers, so you could swap it. And I remember I was swapping it on every of my GPUs. But nowadays, you can just choose a GPU which is the quietest, and you can choose from like 10 or more designs of the cooling, and you can even run water cooling, so you can even buy GPUs with water cooling installed. So I don't know, this thing is really weird for me that this is so noisy in this day and age. So there are plenty of fans to choose from, and they have chosen the one which is very noisy at 600 RPMs. Very, very, very weird for me, but I don't know. And someone written in the comments that they tried to like fight with the Ari in the lights department. I don't know if Ari lights are as loud as this one, but maybe I'm just too lame. Maybe my expectations are not realistic, but I would expect that 1600 RPM 140 millimeters fan would be much quieter than this one. So I don't know. Maybe I'm too spoiled by PC fans. I actually have 140, I think, Noctuas, which at 2000 RPMs are 3 times quieter than this. So really weird. And this mic is annoying because it sucks my whole t-shirt, but anyway, those two setups, I know that it's too noisy. I will check the recordings in a second to see if anything with the mic helps, but I doubt it. So yeah, and tomorrow maybe I will try to fight a window, but I know that it would be too noisy to do it, so I don't know if I even want to do it, but for the science. Cheers, mate.